Oh, yo, it's your boy Legendary back out here again. I'm just telling y'all, I'm just grinding, grinding, grinding. The grind just don't stop. But we finna get into it. Animated stories, homeless, and pregnant at 60. Oh man, we definitely gotta get into this, bro. How you get pregnant at? I
Ever
know it
since I was
happens, but I'm
born,
just saying,
my
how
parents
do it?
completely ignored me. So it's no wonder that I turned out weird. When I got into primary school, a girl asked me when my birthday was, and I responded, "What's a birthday?" The girl looked confused, saying, "It's the day you get presents because you turned 1 year older." I said, "Oh right, I saw that on
How you not
TV,
have a
but my
birthday,
parents
bro?
don't do that." You see, I
Bro,
was
she got
raised
some
by a
mean
nanny.
parents, bro.
She sometimes took me to the playground so I could interact with other
Can I
kids,
like
but
can
that
I
was
get rid of
rare.
these subtitles?
Normally, she told me to stay in my room and be
Bro,
quiet,
it's in
so
the
I never
video.
learned how to make friends. Being lonely is incredibly painful, so I was happy when my new classmate Romero approached me inside the school bus, saying, "You look fine, girl, what's your name?" I was too shy to respond, but he kept talking and even asked me out on a date. I said yes, even though he was quite creepy. When we met, he always sat down right next to me, putting his hand on mine. Most girls wouldn't have liked it, but this was my first touch with another human being in years. It felt so good. He even started coming over to my house, and while I just wanted to play
Bro,
games, he often tried.
she fell in love with this nigga, bro. This nigga got dirty ass clothes on. He got this yee ass haircut, bro. How I will find specimen like you gonna fall in love with somebody like him? He look like one of them rock punk. He like one of them rock stars. Like them like I don't know. He just remind me of one of them rock. You know how the punks like them rock stars. They got them mohawks and they got them piercings coming. It just that whole genre throws me off.
Tried to kiss
You
me,
could have did
but
better.
I
You
was
could have
only
got you
14
you
and
could have
not
got
ready
you a
for
nigga that was
anything
like knew how
romantic,
to
so I
dress. You know,
rejected
had
his attempts.
the
But even
the
without
outfit on.
kissing,
You
we
fell in love
became a
with
couple.
this.
I didn't mind how creepy he could be. Sometimes he stared at me for minutes without saying a word, but other
He
times
trying to
he
figure
just
out what
held
he
my
gonna do to
hand
you.
and it felt like heaven to me. At age 15, I allowed Romero to stay overnight and sleep in my bed. Maybe you can guess what happened next. I got pregnant and only found out
Yes, sir. That boy got the wrong dog in your shit, bro.
about it when my belly grew bigger. I told Romero about it and he got really angry, screaming, "How stupid do you have to be to get pregnant? My parents are gonna kill me if they find out." I responded,
I mean,
"Don't worry, I will keep it a secret," and Romero finally calmed down. You see, because of my
how you
social
didn't strap
anxiety,
up, bro?
I
You gotta.
avoided conflict at all costs. Whenever
You should
Romero
have
got
put you should
angry,
have put some hot sauce in that thing, bro.
I
Do
did
what Drake
everything I
did.
could to make him stop screaming at me. But I wasn't completely innocent either. I loved the idea of getting a baby. Finally, I would have a best friend, someone I loved and cared about. But while I was cooking myself dinner, my mother noticed my belly and asked, "Are you pregnant?" She hadn't talked to me in months, so this must have shocked her somehow. She called my dad over, and when he saw my belly, he said, "You can't give birth and keep living here. You will give the baby away once it's born." I wanted to say no, but was too afraid and just started crying. What if my baby would be adopted by a family that didn't care about it?
Yeah, that's
No
one of
way
that's
I would let that happen.
bro. That's actually a good ass theory, bro. I ain't even gonna cap to you. Like I never thought about it like that. Like, what if you do give a baby off to a family that don't actually care about them, and you wanted to keep the baby? That shit crazy. I'm not gonna say I don't want to say like get an abortion because she obviously wants to have a baby, but I'm just saying like that's actually that kind of got me thinking. I'm like, damn, bro, what if you do give your baby? But let's get into the video. I'm done.
Happen. So I came up with the
Life
most stupid plan
experiences.
any teenager had ever come up with. I bought a tent and decided to move into a forest once the baby was born. But in my 36th week, my dad wanted me to sign the adoption papers, and when I refused, he told me to leave his house. Suddenly, I was homeless and spent my first night at a train station before I decided to check into a hospital. Everything went well, but when my baby was born, my dad snatched it away from me. He attempted to leave the room, and for the first time in my life, I stood up to him, screaming, "That's my daughter, give her back!" I jumped on his back and bit him as hard as I could, while the doctors took my baby away from him. I think
How
he
you
even
get up
got
and you just got
arrested,
done
but
having a
I didn't
baby?
care. When I saw my daughter, I knew she was the
Man,
only thing that
she
mattered.
must have some otherworldly strength, bro. She must be like Wanda Maximoff or something. How you how you get up after you just got done pushing the baby out of you? Just get up and then hit Bo with an RKO. Like, I don't understand that.
Now. But I left the hospital with no money on me. So I had to sneak into my parents' house to get the tent and steal some food before I set up camp in a nearby forest. Like I said, I was weird and stupid. I hadn't thought about how cold it would get at night, and my baby kept crying non-stop. The next morning, the police woke me up. Apparently, homeless people aren't welcome. But when they realized that I was a teenage girl with a newborn, they brought me to a women's shelter. It was a weird place. It offered free food, but it was run by an aggressive trans woman, a man who decided to become a woman. Everyone was scared of her. One time, she came over to my baby and stole her pacifier. My baby started crying while the trans woman laughed about it. With this psycho near me, I couldn't stop worrying about my baby. How did I know this man wasn't just faking it so he could be around vulnerable women and hurt them? Well, Romero finally came to visit us. Until then, I hadn't thought of him as a father, but he seemed to enjoy playing with his daughter. I could tell it by the way he looked at her. At the end, he said, "You can't stay here. You aren't safe with those druggies around you." But where shall I go? My parents aren't the nicest people, but when they see the baby, they might change their mind and let you two move in with us. We arrived at his home, and his mom opened the door. She was a big woman with a scar around her neck. She
Ugh, bro,
said,
she one of them
"Who is she?"
junkies.
And Romero responded, "I got her pregnant and now she needs a place to stay." You idiot! And who's gonna pay for the baby? Me? Are you freaking insane? You won't have to pay for anything. I will get a job and take care of her financially. Ha! So you drop out of school and become a loser like your dad.
You don't have to
Just let
drop
her
out of
live
school.
here
You can
for a
just
month.
work
His mom took a look at
in
the
school
baby and
too.
said, "Ugh, no way this thing is gonna move in here." We left disappointed, but the following week, Romero found a job as a cashier so he could rent a small apartment. I believed Romero wanted to become a responsible father, but instead, he became a bigger and bigger jerk. He enjoyed owning me and forbid me to leave the apartment unless I was with him. His behavior got worse and worse until I finally had enough and spoke up to him. I said, "You don't respect me. You treat me like an object." "So what? I dropped out of school to take care of you. Show some gratefulness." I had enough, and while he was at work, I applied for several call center jobs because I wanted to become independent. I immediately got accepted and thought about dumping Romero. But I knew he would try to get revenge on me, maybe by taking 50% custody of our child. So instead of dumping him, I forbid him to touch or kiss me until he treated me with respect. Of course, he went berserk, and after just 3 days, he told me, "Fine, it's over. I hope both you and your daughter end up on the streets."
Bro, that's crazy. Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, let's just skip past it. I don't know what that is. But yeah, that's crazy. That is so crazy. Man. Oh, that's crazy. But hey, run them likes up. Comment and subscribe. I'll see y'all boys next time.